Okay, so the weekend with M5 is now over, and we don't have too much tires left, and we consumed a lot of fuel, which I think is a good grade. And it's definitely the best M5 yet in terms of versatility. It's super nice to live with. Complete comfort, complete silence, double clutch works great, and you don't have too high fuel consumption either when driving at a constant speed. If you drive actively, yeah, you will see maybe some consumption similar to the old M5. And driving actively, it's the most driftable M car ever, especially thanks to the active differential as well that takes inputs from the stability control. Makes it super controllable and just crazy to drift. And on the track, for real track work, you really cannot put 100% of the power down. You will just drift and burn rubber everywhere. It's a lot of fun, but for best track time, it's obvious that you should have M dynamic mode on. It saves the tires, takes down the track time, because you will only drift through first and second and partly through third gear, which is a lot of fun. But with the M dynamic mode on, you can take on cars that you're really not supposed to take on. I was riding passenger yesterday when we drove against a Porsche 997 GT3 RS Mark II, and he was behind us in the corners, very close behind us, I would say. But on the straight he went out to overtake us, and he couldn't overtake us on the straight. We actually added distance on him. Now we're reminded about this start and stop issue. This is actually the most annoying thing on the M5, I would say. So now there it starts again. As a owner of M cars and all sports cars in general, you think that the engine is some issue with the engine when it just dies like this in the traffic queue. But it's the start and stop button, so I can push that button to kill it, because it's really annoying. Every time the engine dies, you think something wrong, but of course it's never something wrong with an M5 engine. And on the track, yes, the steering is not as good as the M5, and you have a lot of weight, but the brakes holds up for track work. And this is the first time, I would say, for M5 that the brakes are really good, and we didn't even have to change pads, and we just went lap by lap by lap. I mean, M3 is better than the M5 on the track, but with the M5 you take it to the other direction. You have an extreme comfortable car in everyday driving, with a double clutch and these super comfortable optional multifunctional seats. But you also can have a lot of fun on the track. And the M5 is slightly better feel on the track, of course. We recorded 1.16 Gs in the corners yesterday with the M3. But that is so much more, I wouldn't say frustrating, but it's the M5 is so much more comfortable to live with in everyday driving. With the silence when cruising, not a lot of wind noise when cruising, and like this I could just drive smooth around in city driving. Of course I could do that with double clutch M3 as well, but this is just much more comfortable. You don't have the roughness. Also, the M3 I have, which has a supercharger and actually the identical amount of horsepowers with this car. Actually 3 or 4 horsepowers less on the wheels than this. It's a tuned car, and this car is completely stock, and it's almost as fast as the supercharged M3. And it's always a charm of having a complete stock BMW M car. You know, you have warranty after warranty, you will have goodwill, you don't have any issues with any kind of authority or anything. It just works, and you kill a lot of cars on the streets with a stock car. We had some interesting encounters with tuned Volvos yesterday, and yeah, if you tune a car too much, or a Volvo too much, the engine will blow, which it did yesterday when we saw that Volvo. So it's definitely a charm with a complete stock car, the way BMW wanted it, BMW M wanted it to be, with in terms of balance and stability and power. But one thing that surprised me, when you want to go drive actively with this car, it sounds very raw from outside. You have these loud exhaust bangs when flooring it to first gear to 6,000 RPMs, third 5,000-6,000 RPMs, and letting off the gas. It's loud bangs, like bangs, explosions that are really high for a complete stock car. And I think we managed to record some of those sounds. I was really surprised with those bangs, and it sounds a lot more from outside than from inside, for sure. It really doesn't sound like a stock car or a stock BMW. It sounds that a lot is done with the car in a nice way. You hear some turbo whines, sometimes you hear exhaust explosions, you hear tires chirp, and so it's really fun when you want to have fun with it as well. And one lesson I learned from guys at BMW M, whenever it spins, they say whenever you lose traction, just upshift, which you have to do a lot in this car. So first gear, you just shift at 4,000 RPMs when you launch it into second gear, and then you will start to spin again on second gear. You upshift to third gear, and I saw it on Performance Box. The best time 0 to 100 from a standstill is doing it manually with DC off, manual shifts. I never came below 5 seconds 0 to 100 on GPS with launch control, but with manual gear shifts I had 4.3 seconds 0 to 100 on GPS, which is very impressive. And that is also, I didn't have the Sport Plus gas response engaged. I had Sport, because you have a better feel for the gas pedal when you have Sport instead of Sport Plus. Sport Plus is for all-out track work, I would say. And yeah, now I'm driving with everything efficient and comfort settings, and I just put the video camera on the dash, and it's so smooth and comfortable that the camera stays there. But I cannot push it above like 2,000 RPMs, and I definitely cannot have Sport Plus setting on the gas pedal and the camera on. fly away. So I would say I'm very impressed with the car considered its complete stock. I cannot just start thinking of what happens when you have put a ship in this car and add 50 wheel horsepower or 100 wheel horsepower. It feels like I've kind of reached the limit on my supercharged M3. You don't want to push it more with methanol injection or anything like that, just a hassle. Give you more problems. I'm done with that, but the owner of M5 could just put a chip in and he will beat supercharged supercharged M3 and will beat Corvette Z06 and for sure facelift the stock Nissan GT-Rs. And yeah, GT3 RS of course, and maybe 911 turbos PDK from Renault. Maybe. We'll see. But this is all for now for this little short summary of the car. I cannot floor it or let you hear some sound right now because the tires are empty, which would not happen on a car that you would think is boring. This is not a boring car, and it is super comfortable. You don't have to sit on the floor in a covered by plastics in a Corvette Z06 in order to have the performance, at least in a straight line. You could just have a sit in full comfort in these comfortable chairs and go even and even beat the shipped Corvette Z06 that we tried. So, have a nice day.